Chicago-based McDonald's is shutting down its experimental beverage-led restaurant concept after about a year and a half.
McDonald's is struggling. The brand is reporting a drop in sales worldwide. They're down by 1%. McDonald's shares have tanked by 15%. Why? Because customers find their burgers too expensive now, and many prefer to eat at home instead.
Cosmix opened in Bolingbrook in December 2023. People lined up to try the new food, especially the drinks, which included many more coffee options. Skywatch flew over the restaurant today.
McDonald's is now known for its dollar menu, is having a tough time getting customers in the door due to the struggling economy. And Annie Gasparo is here to tell us how Mickey D's is making some changes to get more Big Macs on the table.
McDonald's posted its biggest US sales decline in nearly 5 years on Monday. Demand took a hit from a brief E. coli outbreak, while diners also proved cautious spenders. Comparable sales in the US fell 1.4% in the fourth quarter.
Breaking news. The Golden Arches are shaking. What began as a trade war is now exploding into something far bigger, a cultural showdown. China and India, two of the fastest growing economies on Earth, have just announced plans to slap tariffs as high as 300% on U.S. fast food imports. And at the center of the storm, McDonald's. For decades, McDonald's wasn't just a burger chain. It was a symbol, a shorthand for the American way of life, for convenience, capitalism, and the spread of U.S. This influence from Shanghai to New Delhi. But in 2025, that symbol is being turned into a target. Beijing officials leaked proposals to tax every single product tied to McDonald's, from beef patties and cheese to branded packaging. In New Delhi, lawmakers followed suit, framing the move not only as economic protection, but as a statement of cultural independence. This isn't about fries and milkshakes. This is about pride. It's about power. It's about whether the icons of one nation can dominate the streets of another. For Washington, tariffs once meant leverage. But now, they've triggered a new battlefield where symbols, not just steel or silicon chips, are on the line. McDonald's, a $200 billion brand with over 40,000 outlets worldwide, suddenly finds its future in Asia under siege.
All right, so shalom, shalom. I like to start off first and foremost by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to those that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Nathan Yala from the GMS Camp Atlanta, coming back at you through the Spirit with another lesson. And I pray and hope this lesson is edifying. Now, as you've seen in this clip, that the nations they're pretty much doing away with American culture, right? With American food. And that's why, because everybody's tired, man. And that's the title of this video. Everybody is tired. The world is tired of Edom. The world is tired of the things of their democracy. They're tired of it, okay? So they see that everything that America do, everything these Edomites do is one-sided. It's only for the benefit of them. And they use these things as a tool to come in, even something as simple as McDonald's, because as you start going into it, the things that McDonald's requires in order to run their business in these other countries, they actually they cause problems in these countries because, now McDonald's has to pay. They put other cultural businesses that are there. They put those out of business, right? They also have to outsource business from other areas. Like, if you watch more of this video, they get a lot of their products from Italy to sell in Shanghai and in India. Okay, so that creates a lot of problems, and you're eating food from a foreign nation and not your own. So that also causes division, right? And then, it inflates the cost of the products in that nation because you're demanding a certain price for your food that may not be relative to the cost of the food in that nation, so that the businesses in that nation now they raise their prices to compete with yours, and the people that suffer at the end is the consumer. Okay? So the ways of America, the ways of Babylon, the ways of Esau, Edom, the world is tired of it. Okay? The world is sick of it. And they're turning their backs on the West. And it's happening at a furious rate. Okay? You know, so I'm gonna start off with Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. It says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hands, which made all the earth drunken. The nations have drinking of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. The nations drank of the philosophies of America. Everybody wanted to be American for a while. They wanted to model themselves after the so-called white man, because he just seemed like he just appeared out of nowhere, and he had all this glamour and fame and fortune, and his nation was so great, not understanding the secret behind how he actually developed everything that he has. He stole it all. Okay, he pillaged for it all, right? And he's been doing it for so long that now the nations are mad. It's catching up to him. People are tired, okay? Especially the Israelites. We're tired, okay? Because this devil, he just will not stop. He continues on with his fury, his wickedness, his oppression, his capitalism, okay? And then you look at the other nations as if the people, the Israelites, as if our lives are less than nothing. And you are so great. When you're the one that's less than nothing, you're dung, okay? You're the one that's destroying everything down to the air, the food, the water, relationships, the earth itself, everything. You're destroying everything. So who's the one that's the actual savage? Who's the one that's actually evil? Okay, you just try to put a different face on what you're doing. You know, the evils that you're doing, you'll paint a different face, but in all actuality, it's you. Okay? And the rest of the world now see you, and they're stepping out, they're stepping away from America. Okay? I'm gonna go to what was that I'm about to go to? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna just go up a little bit here to verse 6. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquities, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Okay? Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunk. The nation drunken. The nations the nations have drinking of her wine, and the wine is her philosophies. Right? Therefore, the nations are mad. All right. So let's go to Obadiah. That was the one that I had in mind. Obadiah 1 and 2. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Everything that these so-called white people have established in the world is now starting to become hated. People are hating it now. They don't want to have anything to do with America and American culture. Why? Because they are tired. They're sick of the oppressive nature, the one-sidedness, the unfairness of the so-called white man. Okay? How he get to go places and do things and you can't do the same thing that he does. Okay? How he gets to come in and take your women and rule your land, but you can't do the same thing that he does. Okay? You know, I think I got some video. Hold up. I'm gonna just let y'all hear the sound. Okay. Give me 1 second. So I want to show you the hypocrisy of Esau, Edom. It's a good video right there. We keep that. Okay. All right, now here we go. This is the video I want y'all to hear.
Okay. When the British and English people are...
Now, just so I can preface it, this is a conversation between a British Edomite and Elam. Okay, so this is a Elam, okay, or Elamite. Okay, so you have a British Edomite and a man from Elam, so-called Indians. Okay, so they're having a conversation about marriage. Okay, and he said the Edomite says, you know, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So the Elamite is like, well, when India do as the Indians do, and he like, no, but he's like, that's fair. That's what you just said. So what's fair for you ain't fair for me. What's good for you ain't good for me. So let's go ahead and listen.
Have when in Rome. Okay. When the British and English people are moving to Dubai, they should be getting married according to the Sharia. Tell them. We've established there. No, tell them. When in Rome, do as the Romans. Speak at the camera. Tell them. Tell the English people when they go to Dubai and UAE, they should be married according to Sharia. Tell them. But they yourself, brother. I don't want. When in Rome, do as the Romans. When in Dubai, do as the Dubaians do. That's between Arabs and whoever goes. It's not English. There's millions of English folks that are going there. When in Dubai, do as the Dubaians do. Yes, and they do. No, they don't. They don't follow Sharia law. Because Sharia law is nonsense. But when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Yes, but it doesn't apply to you because you're backward. So it's selective. So it only applies to you. Because no one wants to live in your shithole countries. Don't you realize that? Well, before you guys came to India, we were responsible for the economy of 3 out of 4. 3/4 of the world's economy. Our economy was stronger than all of Europe combined. Hindustan. Then you guys invaded and you left us with 4% of our economy. And then you took everything, you bought it here. We literally saved your country. We gave you the most people in World War One. And fighters. Tell me the demographic. Were they forced to fight? Demographic. Did they not agree that? Did you want the dirty Indians and Muslims in your army then in World War One? I didn't. You did. Now, World War II. We were never asked. You called the dirty Indians. We were never the curry munchers. Yes. You said, come curry munchers. Yes. Help us. Who did? Because we're too pathetic. No, you fight hit ourselves. A tiny group. And these curry munchers, turban wearers, helped you out of the war. To such a degree, without nothing to do with without us, you'd be living under him. Yeah, we used to strap you to cannons and blow you to pieces. So you admit you've blown people from cannons. You blew us up. You blew us up. Yeah. Yeah. But why would we then invite them in? That's a very good question. Everyone sick and tired of this nonsense. Why are they sick and tired having to live with idiots like you? I don't want to. Because you're occupied by Israel. I want to. Pretending to occupied by English people about England. No, why are you speaking to me then? Try and deprogram great.
All right. So you hear it. You heard how Esau Edom is he speaks out of one side of his out of both sides of his mouth. On the one hand, it's good for him to do something, but on the other hand, it's not. Okay. Now, I'm not advocating for Elam at all. I'm not advocating for them, or Sharia. All right, just wanted to be known that shit is off. However, what I am, the example that I wanted to bring is how Esau, he can do one thing, but you can't do what he do. Okay, especially the Amalekites. Now, I'm going to read this again, but I'm going to start up to verse 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us go up against her in battle. Okay? So the Lord is telling the heathen to get up and arise and go up against Edom in battle. And behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. So they're greatly despised. Now, why is Edomites? Why are they greatly despised? Because people are tired of their ass, man. They're tired of the lies. They're tired of the rape, rob, and murder. They're tired of the oppression. You see, the thing is that the problem in the earth is the so-called white man. That is the problem. Okay? With him here, you know what? Let me just grab this real quick, okay? Because this shit has been going on for a very long time. All right? Yeah, here it is. This is First Maccabees 1:1. It says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedon, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and the Medes, that had reigned in his stead the first out of Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries unto him. After that, after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and partake in his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bareth rule, everyone in his place. And after his death they put crowns upon them heads. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied upon the earth. And that was the point that I wanted to get. You know, the so-called white man, he speaks and boasts very proudly of this Alexander the Greek. Okay, he boasts very proudly about him. But when you go back to his rulership, it says evils, plural, like a lot of evils were multiplied on the earth. Now, was evil here? Yeah, evil was here, but it wasn't in the abundance as it is now or then when he came into power. Because it said when these generals came into power, okay, evils multiplied on the earth. So the Israel has been dealing with this for a very long time, and the other nations are dealing with it too now. Okay, so the other nations are mad. They're upset because they're not getting the same piece of pie that Amalek and Esau is getting. Okay, they're becoming second and third class citizens. Right? But now they're breaking out of that spell. Why? Because they're tired. Okay? They're tired, and the Lord is lifting that. Ultimately, it's the Heavenly Father that's doing it. But, you know, just for in layman's terms, they're tired. People are tired. Okay? This is Isaiah 33. And 1, it says, woe to thee that spoileth and was not spoiled, and dealt treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. Okay? So you've been dealing treacherously with the nation, with Israel and the nations for so long. Okay? Especially the Israelites. You see? No people under the whole heaven has been done as the children of Israel. Okay? So I don't give a shit what any of y'all other nations can say. Y'all can't compare. All right, the Native Americans who were Israelites wiped out. The tribe of Issachar, who are so-called Mexicans, pushed off their land. A huge percentage of America was Mexico, and they were pushed off their land. Imagine that, all those deaths. The so-called Negro, all the things brought over here in slave ships, all of the things that he contributed to the society, got credit for nothing. You see? You spoil. How many treaties have you did with the Native Americans and broke them? Now you got them living in deplorable conditions in reservations, worse than third world countries, and yet we're supposed to continue to deal with your ass. I mean, seriously. Okay, you go and you rape, rob, and spoil and deal treacherously. If a person won't let you in, you know, you'll try to make a deal just to get it in, okay? Just so you can get something in, get your toe in the dough. You know, they say that in order for a company or a person to have any type of influence with a major company, they only need to own 1% of the company. So all Esau been trying to do, what he always does, incrementalism, a little bit at a time. Just let him get a toe in the dough, okay? If he can get a toe in the door, then he can start wedging the rest of himself in there. Okay. I forget. Elder Malcolm talks about it all the time. A bill that was being passed in Congress, and they're like, oh well, it don't got certain provisions in there. He like, hey, just chill out. We want to get it passed first, and then we can make the changes once we get it in there. And that's Esau's MO. He'll put legislation into place. He'll sign a treaty, okay? But ultimately, his overall goal is just to get it in there. Once he get it in there, he got control, and he got 1%. All you need is 1% in order to have influence. So ultimately, he has more than 1%. But all he wants to do is get it in there, and he can make the changes later. Because people ain't gonna go back and look at it again after he make the changes. Okay, they never do, and then they make the bill so big and cumbersome and complicated that you don't even want to read it. You got to get 5 attorneys just to read it because it'd be so thick. It's not simple. It's made in a it'll say something like for more information on this, read section F10 to figure out what's it saying in paragraph 1 on page 1. You see what I'm saying? Like the confusion is sown completely to discourage you from figuring out what this devil is trying to do. Okay, so he's always in a perpetual state of dealing treacherously with people. Okay, that's what he does. He deals treacherously. That's what the Lord said, and a person, he's not just gonna just willingly just give up his power. I mean, come on now, think about that. Whoever willingly just gave up their power, whoever willingly just said, you know what, just go ahead and just pass the baton to you. It's your turn now. Okay, it's your turn to rule. I had my turn. It's your turn now. Who does that? Who wants to do that? Okay, nobody wants to willingly pass the baton. It's going to have to forcibly be taken. Okay, so of course he's going to deal treacherously and spoil and try to use the tools that he's always used to maintain his position. Okay, so I'm going to go to Romans 8. This is Romans 8 and 22. It says, for we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. Okay? Oh, let me start up to 21. It says, I'm gonna go up to 20. It says, for the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who subject the same in hope. So this is the Lord's movie. He designed everything to be this way. Okay. All right. The Lord made us this way for a purpose. It says, because the creature itself shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Yahweh. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travail in pain together until now. So the whole entire creation is tired of the one that's running the show. Okay? The water is polluted. The air is polluted. The food is polluted. The ground is polluted. Okay? They say 90% of the soil in America is already toxic. Okay? Ain't no such thing as organic. What's the hell is an organic? It's just a title, a slogan. It's the devil don't put on stuff for you to think that it's better than the stuff that's right next to it. But ain't no such thing as organic. Everything is fucking toxic. He done sprayed everything with chemicals. He still got the chemtrails coming down on them. The barium and aluminum dioxide, that's still getting every damn where. Okay? So there's nowhere you can go on the earth to where you can eat what we call to eat real food. It's all tainted. We got to wait for Yahweh Shai to come back before we can eat before we can eat real food. Okay? So I'm gonna go to the book of Joel. I think it's been a while since I read this one. All right, so this Joel 3:9, it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near and let them come up." So the Lord he's preparing, he's creating these scenarios, okay? These scenarios to where you're despised, these scenarios where people are tired, the world is tired of your ass. Why? So that he can bring forth this big war to end all wars. Okay? It says, "Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hook into spears. Let the weak see that I'm strong." You see? So the Lord is putting a spirit upon these other nations to create, to use their resources, whether it be agriculture or something else, to create weapons to stand up against America. Why? Because they're tired of America's shit. Okay? They're tired of this place, man. Everybody's tired of this place. You should be tired of this place. You should be tired of working every goddamn day. You should be tired of paying bills. You should be tired of not being able to eat freely. You should be tired of having to pay taxes on your land. You should be tired of not having full control of your children. Okay? You should be tired of all the lies, the propaganda. Okay? You should be tired of Title 4D. You should be tired of the divorce rate. Okay? You should be tired of the unclean and nasty food. You should be tired of all these things, man. Okay? And you should be praying for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to put an end to this shit, man, because this shit is terrible. All right? It says, "Assemble," verse 11, it says, "Assemble yourselves and come up, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord." Okay? So in the end, everybody gonna end up in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. Okay? Getting ready to fight this wars to end all wars. All right? I got one more precept and I'm gonna go ahead and close out. It's the book of Job, chapter 20. It says, this is Job 20:15. It says, "He shall swallow down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Yahweh shall cast them out of his belly." Okay? So, the Lord is about to cause things to happen to make him lose everything that he's working to get. Okay? His whole enterprise is about to fall. All right? And you know, I got one more precept because that wasn't the one that I wanted. Okay, I did want the fact that he's gonna lose his riches. Okay. But I'm gonna go to 22. Yeah, this is it right here. It says, "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him." And that's every nation, everyone that he done stole from, you know. All these heathens, they're gonna put their hand upon Israel, you know. 2/3 gonna get knocked off, and the rest of the Israelites, we're gonna be taken up in ships. You know, Lord willing, we be at that number. But the rest of y'all, you know, hey, yeah. Now get it twisted. We're gonna go through Jacob's trouble. All right. But when this man thinks that he's about to put it all together, he got his beast system implemented, he got his chip implemented, you know, and he think he about to sit back and, you know, and kick it. Hey, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. You see that? So as this devil think that he's about to finish it all and he think that it's over and he got away with it all hell gonna break loose for him. And it's already happening. Okay? The other nations are tired. They're upset. They don't want to have nothing to do with your ass. All right? And they're moving away from you. Okay? All your allies are moving away from you because they see what type of demon you is. All right? So with that, I pray this an edifying lesson. I'm ended off by giving all praises going honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honors to our elders and the apostle, great millstone. Until next time, I say shalom.